All right, great. So we're getting started. First of all, I want to wish all of you happy National Nutrition Month. And of course, for National Nutrition Month, it's all about personalizing your plate. And I thought, what better place to start than with lunch? Sometimes lunch kind of gets the back seat compared to breakfast and certainly for dinner. So I've come up with several kind of multicultural inspired lunches to feature through the month of March. And I'm very excited to share with you one of my favorite recipes, honestly, this peanut butter strawberry quesadilla. Before we get started, I do want to highlight that if you would like to if you're cooking along and you're taking pictures, please feel free to use the hashtag and post. I think that'll be really fun. I'll follow you back and certainly share your posts and would certainly love to see what you create at home. So let's get started. I've got 15 minutes to pull off a peanut butter strawberry quesadilla, as well as a hot coffee with frothed milk and cocoa sprinkles. So starting off, I've got a whole grain tortilla. I love it because it has about 5 grams of fiber, which is pretty significant considering for women, we should be aiming for about 25 grams of fiber, and men maybe closer to 30. And I'm using a natural peanut butter, which, as you know, is a little bit, I'm gonna call it drippy, but it's nice because it's super spreadable. And I know you're not going to be measuring your peanut butter as you make your quesadilla, but just to show you how far 3 tablespoons goes, it's about just enough to cover the tortilla. So about 3 tablespoons of this wonderful ooey gooey stuff. You can certainly use any kind of nut butter. And you just want to spread this around the tortilla nice and evenly. Although once we put it in the skillet and it gets nice and melty, it's going to go pretty much everywhere. All right, great. So I've got this spread around just to give you a sneak preview of what that looks like. Nice little almost peanut butter pizza. Now the strawberries, I got strawberries because they were on sale at the store. You could certainly use pears, that might be you, Luann, or you might be using blueberries, or certainly any kind of berry. But with the strawberries, you do want to wash them first. And what I've done here is I've just removed that green stem, the hull. And I'll show you how to do that. The best way, well, this is a quite large strawberry, is to set your strawberry down on the working surface, put your knife at a 45-degree angle to the hull, and then twist the strawberry, kind of jagging your knife up and down. And this will easily remove the hull. And you've got a perfect little hull removal. I'm gonna go ahead and slice this strawberry because it's kind of large and I might have enough strawberry just by using this one alone. Or this one and my other one that I hold. This is about, I would say about a 1/4 inch for the thickness. And I'm gonna lay this across the top of the quesadilla. It's already looking super fresh. Kind of makes me think about spring. Even though there's still a nip in the air, we've got plenty of sunshine, which does make it really good. So for me, 2 strawberries actually did a nice coverage over half of the quesadilla. If you have smaller strawberries, naturally you might need a few more strawberries than what I put here. Just fold this in half, tuck that strawberry back in, and our quesadilla is ready to pop right into the skillet. Now, what's great about the type of skillet you can use either a non-stick skillet or you can use a regular skillet. And my skillet is the non-stick version, so I kind of like showing this one so that you can see that you don't need to put any oil in the bottom of the pan. If you're using a regular skillet like me, just turn the heat on underneath, let the skillet warm up just a bit so that your tortilla doesn't stick. And then holding the folded side down, you're just going to lay that right into the skillet. Let that go for a couple minutes, and in the meantime, I can kind of clear a space and we can work on our coffee. So for the things that you're going to need for the hot coffee with frothed milk and cocoa sprinkles, you'll need about a quarter cup of milk in a jar. Um, in a jar, if you're doing the hand shaking motion, if you are, you definitely want to have a good seal on your lid, because naturally when you're shaking the milk, you don't want a big spray around your kitchen. I'm going to show you a different method, which will actually allow me to use my uh, little magic wand that I'm so proud of. I got it as a gift, and it rotates at amazing speeds, but it really does a fantastic job of frothing the milk. So that's what I'm going to use. You could also put the milk into a blender and just blend it real quickly and get those air bubbles incorporated. So I can hear some of that popping, and let me show you how easily you can see the quesadilla sliding around in the pan. And let me take a peek under there to see what my color is doing. Some nice brown. I'm going to let the backside go just a little bit longer so that we get a little bit more color. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and warm the milk so that when we put it on top of the coffee, it's already kind of warm and not going to cool it off too far. So what's kind of cool about coffee is that, believe it or not, most Americans get a lot of their antioxidants from drinking coffee. So this cup of coffee is going to bring a few more antioxidants into our food choices here. So over kind of a medium heat on the milk, I'm going to let that warm up. I will be checking it and stirring it frequently. And I am also going to watch the temperature. I want it to get up around 140, maybe up to 155, but definitely not much higher, because any higher will interfere with how well the milk is able to froth. Let's see here. Ooh, that is nice and drippy. We've got some great color. And since I've got such a small amount in my pan, I'm just going to give it a little swirl. Let that go. In the meantime, let me show you this gorgeous color on this quesadillas. Keep it from sliding there. There you go. And you can see the drippy peanut butter, the strawberries. I'm still going to cut this into triangles because it'll make it easier to eat. But also there's something about triangles that makes it a little bit more fun. All right, so I hear my milk back here. Give it a swirl. I'm going to check the temperature with a thermometer. And it's climbing up there. I don't know if you can actually see the dial, but we're approaching just around 125, which I think is just going to be about right. I can see the milk is steaming a little bit, so I know it's not going to cool the coffee too far. So I'm going to put it right back into the jar that I pre-measured the milk into. One, I like the jar because it's thicker glass and can stand up to the warm milk. Now, if you're doing the shaking method, you do want to be careful, and you might want to wrap the jar just to make sure that you can handle it. My jar is pretty thick, and I can definitely touch the glass, so it's not dangerous to work with. And of course, I'm going to be using my magic wand, but feel free to put the lid right on this jar and shake away, or pop the milk right into the blender and incorporate all this air. Now, I was asked by a couple of folks if you could use coconut milk or almond milk, and the answer to that is no. Frothing depends on incorporating air and depends on the protein molecules in the milk surrounding those air bubbles to make it, to actually trap the air. So when I looked at the label for coconut water or coconut milk, and then I also checked out the label for almond milk, in both cases, there wasn't really a lot of protein. So I really don't feel like we're going to get a nice froth from those two types of milk. Now you could already see that this is almost double the amount that I initially put in. So we're going to get some great coverage with this froth. One thing that interferes with the trapping of air and the protein in the milk is the fat content. So if you're using a whole milk or even 2%, you may not get as much froth as if you used a skim milk. So your best milk is probably going to be to use skim milk. And why not? You can save yourself some saturated fat and some calories as well. So I've got my frothed milk. Let me pour a cup of coffee and I'll slice the quesadilla. Now I left a little bit of room here for the froth to go right on top. Couple things I want to share with you. Your recipe says optionally you can put in a few drops of vanilla. I like vanilla, so I'm going to do that. But you want to add that to the coffee. Again, with the vanilla, any oils in the vanilla might interfere with our froth. So I don't want that to happen. And then simply, I'm going to spoon on the frothed milk right on top of the coffee. I hope I can show you how beautiful this looks, but you can imagine the frothy white layer on top of the dark coffee. If I were super talented, I would be making a heart in the froth. But in this particular case, I will be adding a few sprinkles of cocoa powder. And I'm going to run that through a small sieve and just kind of sprinkle a few in. And I have to admit, I do like cocoa powder I like the cocoa powder, but I like the cocoa flavor on top of the coffee and with the milk. So got that. If I wanted to, I could even add a pinch of cinnamon, which I think is a nice touch, not necessary, but kind of a nice touch. Let me show you what this looks like. Like I said, hopefully you'll be able to take a peek in there without me spilling it. Cannot wait to take a taste of this. In fact, I'm going to do it right now. You're going to love this one. But lunch is important. So again, I'm just going to slice my quesadilla in half. Makes it a little bit more manageable for eating. Oh, and that peanut butter is ooey, oozy, and gooey. So a wonderful lunch. How did I do? I think we're right at that 15-minute mark. So you can see the strawberries, the ooey gooey peanut butter. I put the side of carrots just to balance this out and add some color and fun. And then we have our coffee. So happy National Nutrition Month, guys.